Look at this ghetto trash bringing her sick kid here like she owns the place. Dr. Patricia Whitmore's voice cut through Metro. General's packed emergency room at 2:47 a.m. Security. Get these people out before they contaminate something. 20 patients looked up from their phones. The exhausted black woman holding her feverish 8-year-old son didn't flinch. She wore a tailored blazer despite the late hour. Her son's private school uniform peeked beneath his jacket. Whitmore stepped back dramatically, covering her nose with her medical mask. She made an exaggerated, disgusted face for everyone too. See? The security guard hesitated. 3 people started recording. The woman's designer purse sat perfectly positioned. Her expensive watch caught the fluorescent light. She held her son closer. You ever been judged so harshly that people forgot you were human? The digital clock above the nurse's station read 2:51 a.m. 9 minutes until shift change. Washington adjusted her son Elijah's weight in her arms. His fever had spiked to 103 an hour ago at their mansion in Breerfield Estates. She'd driven straight from the emergency board meeting, still wearing the charcoal Armani blazer that cost more than most people's monthly salary. Ma'am, I need to see insurance verification before any treatment. Whitmore crossed her arms, projecting her voice across the packed waiting room. That'll be $2,000 up front, cash only. The demand drew stares from other patients. Construction. Worker winced at the amount. An elderly woman clutched her Medicare card tighter. Kesha reached into her black Hermes Birkin bag. The leather was buttery soft, unmistakably authentic. She produced a platinum Blue Cross Executive Preferred card, the kind reserved for Fortune 500 companies with million-dollar accounts. Whitmore snatched the card without looking, probably stolen from her employer. These people always try insurance fraud first. The college student in corner chair 16 lifted his iPhone 14 Pro higher. His TikTok live stream at Justice Watch 2024 showed 847 viewers and climbing. Comments flooded the screen faster than he could read. This is absolutely disgusting. Someone needs to call Channel 7 News. Record everything for evidence. Doctor, this is a legitimate insurance card issued to my family. Kesha's voice carried the practiced calm of boardroom negotiations. My son requires immediate medical attention for his fever. I seriously doubt that. Whitmore's performance intensified. She turned to address the waiting room like a courtroom audience. Look at her trying to manipulate the system. Probably doesn't even live in this zip code. From Kesha's purse, several items had shifted during the confrontation. A first class Delta Sky Miles boarding pass from her last business trip to Atlanta peeked out. The distinctive black titanium American Express Centurion card, invitation, $10,000 annual fee, caught the fluorescent lighting. Her Metro General Hospital VIP parking validation stub fluttered to the scuffed linoleum floor. Only Nurse Maria Rodriguez noticed these details. She'd worked in the ER for 6 years. Something about this situation felt catastrophically wrong. The woman's composure, her clothing quality, the way she held herself despite obvious exhaustion. The live stream counter jumped to 2,100 viewers. Racism began trending in the metropolitan area feed. Screenshots spread through local Facebook, community groups. The hospital's Google business profile started receiving 1-star reviews in real time. Racist staff read one. Discriminatory treatment, said another. Mommy, my head hurts really bad. Elijah's voice was barely audible above the waiting room chatter. His small hand gripped her blazer lapel. Can we please go home now? No, sweetheart. Hush. Kesha adjusted his position, feeling his body temperature through his St. Bartholomew's Academy uniform shirt. Mommy's going to fix this entire place tonight. Her words were soft, meant only for her son's ears. But the quiet intensity behind them made Elijah's brown eyes widen with recognition. This was his mother's business voice, the one that made millionaire investors nervous. An administrator. Janet Mills emerged from the administrative elevator, her gray Macy's suit wrinkled from the 14-hour shift. She'd been monitoring the security camera feeds from her upstairs office. The commotion was visible on 3 different angles. Dr. Whitmore, what exactly is our situation down here? Standard Friday night chaos. Whitmore shrugged dismissively. Insurance fraud attempt, probably transient. Definitely going to cause more problems. I've already requested security intervention. Mills conducted her own visual assessment of Kesha. Washington, the tailored European cut blazer. The confident posture, despite cradling a sick child. The collection of expensive accessories that couldn't be convincingly counterfeited at any reasonable price point. But Mills had collaborated with Patricia Whitmore for 8 years. Personal loyalty trumped professional judgment. Ma'am, if you cannot provide acceptable documentation, hospital policy requires me to ask you to seek treatment elsewhere, Mills positioned herself strategically beside Whitmore, presenting a united administrative front. We have verified insurance patients waiting for emergency care. Security guard Marcus Thompson shifted his weight uncomfortably near the main entrance. He'd observed the entire escalating confrontation. His own daughter Zara was exactly Elijah's age and attended the same private school district. The parallel made his stomach churn with recognition and shame. I have provided proper documentation. Kesha's business negotiation training kept her voice level. I have premium insurance coverage. I have financial resources. I have a critically ill child requiring immediate medical intervention. Financial resources. Whitmore's laugh carried across the entire emergency room, right? Let me take a wild guess. You've got some crumpled 20s hidden in that obviously fake designer handbag. The insult triggered a chain reaction. 7 more smartphones rose throughout the waiting room. The primary live stream viewer count exploded to 4,300 and rising. Local Facebook community groups shared the video link. Twitter algorithms picked up the trending hashtag within minutes. Kesha balanced Elijah against her hip with practiced efficiency. She retrieved her iPhone 14 Pro Max with her free hand. Her manicured finger scrolled to a contact entry labeled simply, Margaret, Executive Assistant. Excuse me, who exactly are you calling at this hour? Whitmore's smirk carried theatrical smugness. Your dealer, some baby daddy. I can promise you that security won't respond to outside pressure. The phone connected on the first ring. Margaret, this is Kesha Washington. Her voice projected clearly across the suddenly quiet emergency room. Yes, the Kesha Washington from the board meeting tonight. I need you at Metro General Hospital immediately. Emergency department, bring the legal team. Complete silence blanketed the waiting area. Even the livestream comments seemed to pause in collective anticipation. Whitmore's theatrical smirk began cracking at the edges. Washington Medical Group, you're seriously claiming employment there? Kesha ended the call with deliberate precision. She reached into her Birkin bag one final time. Her fingers closed around heavy cardstock with embossed corporate lettering. Kesha Washington, Chief Executive Officer, Washington Medical Group. The business card gleamed under fluorescent lighting. Real gold embossing. Corporate headquarters phone number, Executive Assistant's direct extension. That's just the beginning of who I am. The emergency room clock ticked 2 to 55 a.m. 5 minutes until shift change. Washington Medical Group. The name hung in the air like smoke after a devastating fire. Every healthcare worker in the tri-state area knew that corporate empire, the largest private medical network spanning 4 states and operating 23 hospitals. Annual revenue, $2.8 billion. Market dominance, 34% of all specialist referrals throughout the entire region. The business card trembled uncontrollably in Whitmore's sweaty palm. Real embossed gold lettering caught the harsh fluorescent lighting. Corporate seal authenticated with microprinting. Executive phone numbers that bypass standard hospital administration entirely and connected directly to suit decision makers. Mrs. Washington, I deeply and sincerely apologize for this most unfortunate misunderstanding. Whitmore's voice cracked like thin ice under pressure. Perspiration beaded across her forehead despite the aggressive air conditioning. If I had known your corporate position and professional standing, my position? Kesha's perfectly sculpted eyebrow arched with surgical precision. What position would justify treating a sick child with basic human dignity in emergency medical care? The TikTok livestream viewer count exploded exponentially past 15,000 and climbing. Comments scrolled faster than humanly readable. Get her fired immediately. This is going nuclear viral. Justice for the baby. Racism in real time. Screenshots flooded Instagram stories across demographic lines. TikTok's sophisticated algorithm pushed the video to trending feeds across 3 major metropolitan areas within minutes. Night Administrator Mills stepped forward desperately, her corporate damage control instincts finally kicking into overdrive. "Mrs. Washington, perhaps we could relocate to a private consultation room to discuss this matter more appropriately." "Discuss what exactly?" Kesha adjusted Elijah's increasingly limp position against her hip. His fever was climbing dangerously. She could feel the radiating heat through his St. Bartholomew's Academy uniform shirt. "Whether my 8-year-old son deserves emergency medical care. Whether I qualify as human enough for your medical establishment." Dr. James Chen emerged from treatment room 7, having just completed suturing a severe construction accident victim's lacerations. He immediately recognized the escalating commotion. More importantly, he recognized the distinctive Washington Medical Group business card being passed between absolutely shocked patients like evidence in a criminal trial. Chen had completed his entire medical residency at Washington Memorial Hospital downtown, Kesha Washington's flagship medical facility. He knew exactly who was standing in their emergency room holding that critically ill child. "Mrs. Washington." Chan approached with careful medical professionalism. "I'm Dr. James Chen, attending emergency physician. May I please examine your son immediately?" Visible relief flickered across Kesha's exhausted face for the first time tonight. "Please, doctor." His fever spiked dramatically an hour ago. He's been complaining of a severe headache and significant neck stiffness. "Absolutely. Treatment room 12 is completely available right now." "Wait, just 1 minute here." Whitmore stepped aggressively between them, blocking their direct path. "I am the senior attending physician on duty tonight. I make all treatment decisions in this emergency department." Chen studied his colleague's increasingly flushed face. The defensive body posture, the obvious panic flooded behind her dilated eyes. "Patricia, this child requires immediate medical attention. His symptoms suggest possible meningitis. I determine medical necessity protocols here." Whitmore's voice rose, another full octave. "I've been practicing emergency medicine for 25 years. I recognize insurance fraud attempts when I encounter them." The live stream absolutely exploded. Viewer count rocketed past 28,000. Local news stations began frantically monitoring social media feeds for breaking story potential. Channel 7's night assignment editor immediately dispatched their mobile camera crew. The hospital's overwhelmed public relations director received 17 urgent voicemails within 6 minutes. Insurance fraud. Chen examined the Platinum Blue Cross executive. Preferred card still clutched in Whitmore's trembling hand. "This is a completely legitimate corporate account. Premium coverage exclusively for Fortune 500 executives and their families. Anyone can manufacture fake documents these days with computer technology." Patricia Chen's voice carried the precision of surgical steel. "You are refusing to treat a critically ill child based on racial profiling in front of 30 witnesses, while being live-streamed to tens of thousands of people across multiple social media platforms." The waiting room had transformed into a modern amphitheater of justice. Smartphones captured every possible angle. An elderly black woman in corner chair 23 began crying quietly. A Latino construction worker with bandaged hands stood up, fists clenched in solidarity. 3 college students formed a protective semicircle around the primary live-streaming student, creating a buffer zone. Security guard Marcus Thompson made his career-defining decision. He deliberately removed his two-way radio from his utility belt and placed it ceremoniously on the reception desk. "I am not removing anyone from this emergency room tonight." Mills stared at him in corporate disbelief. "Excuse me, you're refusing a direct administrative order? I'm refusing to participate in a documented civil rights violation being broadcast. Live to the entire internet." Marcus crossed his muscular arms definitively. "My daughter Zara attends the same private school district as kids who look exactly like this little boy." Kesha's iPhone buzzed insistently with incoming calls. The caller ID displayed Margaret, executive assistant. She answered deliberately on speakerphone for maximum impact. "Mrs. Washington, I'm currently in the hospital parking garage with our complete legal team. Hospital administration is on an emergency conference call. The board of directors has been notified and activated. How would you like to proceed with this situation? Every single person in the emergency room heard Margaret's crisp, uncompromisingly professional tone. This wasn't a desperate bluff. This wasn't a street theater. This was corporate machinery activating in real time with military precision. Whitmore's face was completely drained of color. Legal team. Dr. Patricia Whitmore. Kesha's voice remained perfectly controlled, carrying boardroom authority. You have refused emergency medical care to a critically ill child. You have engaged in documented racial discrimination. You have violated multiple federal civil rights laws, all while being recorded by multiple witnesses and broadcast live to over 30,000 viewers. The social media numbers were absolutely staggering. Hatcha racism had jumped to the number 3 trending topic throughout the metropolitan area. Screenshots appeared instantaneously on Facebook community groups with 50,000 plus active members. Instagram stories multiplied exponentially across demographic and geographic boundaries. Local news stations prepared urgent breaking news segments. I want to see the senior hospital administrator immediately. Mills attempted desperately to regain any semblance of control. This situation requires immediate senior management intervention. Kesha smiled genuinely for the first time that night. A quiet, knowing expression that sent visible chills through everyone watching the confrontation. Janet Mills, night administrator, annual salary $78,000. Performance reviews available in your personnel file. Would you like me to continue with more specific details? Mills stepped backward involuntarily. How do you possibly know my exact salary? I know everyone's salary in this hospital. Kesha's tone remained conversationally casual. I know the departmental budgets. I know the equipment contracts. I know the malpractice insurance premiums. Dr. Chen's eyes widened with dawning recognition. Not just Washington Medical Group connections. Something more direct, more immediately powerful. Nurse Rodriguez whispered urgently to her colleague. She knows way too much about our internal operations. I know, Kesha continued with devastating precision, that Metro General Hospital received exactly $47.2 million in referrals from Washington Medical Group last fiscal year. I know that represents 31% of your total revenue stream. I know that without those referrals, this hospital would face immediate financial restructuring. The live stream comments exploded. Shh, owns them. They're completely screwed. Ow. This is absolutely insane. 1 minute until everything changed forever. The clock struck exactly 3 a.m., Kesha. Washington reached into her black Hermes Birkin bag one final time. Her manicured fingers closed around a thick leather portfolio she hadn't touched all evening. The real reason she knew everyone's exact salaries. The real reason she understood Metro General's internal operations down to individual equipment, serial numbers, and maintenance contracts. Dr. Whitmore, you asked who I am? Kesha's voice carried across the completely silent emergency room. Allow me to properly introduce myself. She withdrew a substantial document bound in corporate navy. Blue leather. Gold embossing caught the harsh, fluorescent lighting. Metro General Hospital Board of Directors Confidential. Every smartphone in the room immediately zoomed closer for maximum resolution. Primary TikTok live stream viewer count rocketed past 45,000 active viewers. Comments flooded faster than human comprehension. What is that document? This is about to be legendary? Someone screen record everything. I'm Kesha Washington, Chief Executive Officer of Washington Medical Group. She opened the leather portfolio to reveal the first official page of Metro General Hospital. The collective gasp was audible both in person and across social media platforms. Comments exploded faster than servers could process the incoming data. She's the chairman of the board. Whitmore is absolutely dead. This is legendary justice. Someone call the coroner for Whitmore. But Kesha Washington wasn't finished with her revelations. She deliberately turned to the second page with theatrical precision. Official share ownership certificates,
state corporate filings,
legal documents professionally notarized and officially sealed by the Secretary of State's office. I own 51%. of Metro General Hospital through Washington Healthcare Holdings, LLC, is a Delaware corporation established in 2019. Complete and total silence blanketed the emergency room. Even the aggressive air conditioning system seemed to pause in respectful acknowledgement. Dr. Whitmore's face transitioned from pale to ash and gray to nauseated green. Her distinguished medical career wasn't just in professional jeopardy. Her entire existence was now completely at the mercy of the woman she had publicly called ghetto trash in front of dozens of witnesses. "You," Whitmore's voice, barely registered above a whisper. "You actually own this entire hospital? I don't just work here, Dr. Patricia Whitmore. I own it here." Night Administrator Mills stumbled backward involuntarily into an empty wheelchair. Her administrative salary, her annual performance reviews, her employment benefits package, all of it personally signed by Kesha Washington's holding company executives. The third page of documentation revealed the most devastating truth of the entire evening. Dr. Patricia Whitmore, annual gross salary, $247,000. Professional malpractice. Insurance premium $89,000 annually. Pension fund contributions $31,000. Healthcare benefits $18,000. All compensation paid directly by Washington Healthcare Holdings. Kesha's perfectly manicured finger traced the employment contract signatures. "Your signature here, my authorized signature here." Contract dated November 15th, 3 years ago when we acquired this hospital. The TikTok live stream had evolved into a genuine global phenomenon. The viewer count soared exponentially past 78,000 and climbing rapidly. International viewers joined the stream from Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, Germany. #Ratism began trending worldwide within 8 minutes, reaching the top 3 hashtags in 14 countries simultaneously. Dr. James Chen stood completely frozen beside the medication cart. He had completed his entire medical residency at Washington Memorial Hospital downtown, but he had never encountered Kesha Washington in person. The professional photographs in medical journals failed to capture her quiet, controlled power, her commanding presence under extreme pressure. "Mrs. Washington," Chen finally found his professional voice. "I had absolutely no idea you were the hospital owner." "Dr. Chen, you treated this situation with complete medical integrity." Kesha nodded with genuine approval. "You saw a critically ill child who required immediate help. You acted according to your Hippocratic oath, unlike certain other colleagues present tonight." Nurse Maria Rodriguez stepped forward hesitantly, her hands trembling slightly. "Mrs. Washington, I'm Maria Rodriguez from the cardiac unit. I've worked at Metro General for 6 years. I knew something was terribly wrong with tonight's situation." "Nurse Rodriguez, your personnel file demonstrates consistent performance, excellence, and dedicated patient advocacy. You have absolutely nothing to worry about regarding tonight's events." The differentiation was surgically precise. Healthcare professionals who demonstrated integrity and justice received immediate approval. Those who participated in or enabled discrimination faced serious consequences. Margaret's voice crackled clearly through the iPhone speakerphone. "Mrs. Washington, our complete legal team has arrived and is positioned in the main lobby. Hospital senior administration has been briefed via emergency conference call. The board of directors is convening an emergency session via secure video conference from their respective locations. CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC have all requested official statements within the hour." CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. The discrimination incident had reached major national news networks within 3 hours. Kesha looked directly into Patricia Whitmore's eyes with laser focus. 25 years of distinguished medical practice. Thousands of patients were treated successfully. Hundreds of lives were saved. All of that professional legacy potentially compromised by one evening of documented, recorded racism. "Mrs. Washington, please." Whitmore's voice cracked completely under emotional pressure. "I have a family to support. I have a mortgage. I have medical school loans that aren't paid off yet. Dr. Whitmore, you should have considered those financial obligations before traumatizing my 8-year-old son in front of 30 witnesses and 78,000 live stream viewers." Elijah stirred weakly in his mother's arms. His fever had climbed dangerously to 104.5 F. His breathing remained shallow and labored. The legitimate medical emergency hadn't disappeared during the corporate power revelation. Dr. Chinmay. Son requires immediate medical treatment. Will anyone else attempt to obstruct his emergency care? Every staff member in the emergency room stepped aside immediately and decisively. The pathway to treatment room 12 cleared like waters parting before authority. Absolutely not, Mrs. Washington. We'll run a comprehensive blood panel immediately. Administer for fever reducers and test for menitis indicators within minutes. As Kesha carried Elijah toward the treatment room, she paused deliberately beside Whitmore's frozen position near the nurse's station. Dr. Patricia Whitmore, you have exactly one choice to make right now. Professional reference letter or be terminated. For cause with a federal discrimination lawsuit that will follow you to every future medical employer in this country. The ultimatum hung in the air like a precisely wielded surgical blade. Security camera footage from tonight will be comprehensively reviewed by our legal team tomorrow morning. Patient witness testimony will be officially documented. Evidence has already been preserved and archived by our IT security department. This incident has generated over 78,000 documented witnesses across multiple digital platforms. Mills discovered her administrative voice. Mrs. Washington, surely. We can handle this matter internally through proper channels. Janet Mills, you actively supported racial discrimination against a critically ill child. You threatened to call the police on a patient seeking legitimate emergency medical care. You enabled this entire situation through administrative cowardice and professional negligence. The precision was absolutely devastating. No emotional rhetoric, just documented facts and legal consequences. Your employment contract includes a comprehensive morality clause. Section 4.3 specifically addresses discriminatory conduct toward patients. Contract violation results in immediate termination without severance pay or benefits continuation. Mills collapsed into her desk chair. 22 years of hospital administration experience. 22 years of steady employment. All of it eliminated by one night of moral failure. The college student's TikTok live stream had evolved into appointment television for hundreds of thousands of viewers. Comment sections showed people calling in sick to work, canceling morning appointments, staying awake past dawn to witness the conclusion. This had transcended viral content. This represented real-time social justice. Mrs. Washington, Dr. Chen called from treatment. Room 12. Our medical team is prepared for Elijah's care. She entered the sterile treatment room. Kesha's iPhone displayed 17 missed calls from major news networks. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, BBC, Reuters. The Associated Press had already published a breaking news alert. The story was approaching international media coverage. But none of that external attention mattered more than her son's labored breathing and dangerous fever. Doctor, please take care of my baby first. Dr. Chun's emergency medical team moved. With practiced, efficient precision for fluid administration, blood sample collection, continuous temperature monitoring, antibiotic preparation protocols, the quality of medical care was immediate, comprehensive, and professional. Through the treatment room's observation window, Kesha watched the emergency room undergo complete transformation. Whitmore sat alone at the nurse's station, staring at her trembling hands. Mills made desperate phone calls to union representatives and employment lawyers. Other staff members whispered urgently about their own historical interactions with minority patients. Security guard Marcus Thompson approached the treatment room door respectfully. Mrs. Washington, I wanted you to know that I have never been prouder to work security anywhere. In my entire career, Marcus Thompson, your personnel file shows 3 formal commendations for patient advocacy and professional integrity. You acted with moral courage tonight. That dedication won't be forgotten. 45 minutes later, Elijah's dangerous fever finally broke. The 4 fluids and targeted antibiotics worked efficiently. His breathing stabilized completely. Natural color returned to his cheeks. Mommy, I feel so much better now. Relief flooded through Kesha like dam water breaking through concrete barriers. The corporate showdown, the viral footage, the international media attention, all of it had been absolutely worth protecting this single moment. The twist wasn't just her identity. The twist was that she'd been the most powerful person in the building all along. Dr. Chen emerged from treatment room 12 with Elijah's complete medical test results 45 minutes later. His professional demeanor carried visible relief. Severe dehydration combined with acute streptococcal infection, not bacterial meningitis. Thankfully, he'll make a complete recovery with prescribed antibiotics and adequate rest over the next 48 hours. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Your medical professionalism and human decency tonight won't be forgotten. Kesha carried her peacefully sleeping son to the private family consultation room. Elijah's dangerous fever had broken completely. His breathing remained steady and natural. The immediate medical crisis had resolved successfully, but the corporate reckoning was just beginning. Margaret Chen appeared in the hospital's main lobby at exactly 3:52 a.m. leading a formidable team of 6 attorneys from Morrison Bradley and Associates. It's the most expensive and aggressive legal firm in the tri-state area. Annual corporate retainer, $2.3 million. Their professional specialty is corporate discrimination cases and complex healthcare litigation. Mrs. Washington, we have comprehensively documented everything that occurred tonight. Margaret's legendary efficiency had made her indispensable among Fortune 500 executives nationwide. Complete social media archives preserved, security footage requisition orders filed, witness contact information cataloged, hospital employment records for all involved parties secured. The TikTok live stream had evolved far beyond viral entertainment content into documented, legal evidence for potential federal civil rights litigation. Its active viewer count exceeded 127,000 across multiple social media platforms. Screenshots, complete screen recordings, and detailed witness testimonies flooded legal databases faster than experienced paralegals could properly catalog them. What's our comprehensive legal exposure assessment, David? Morrison stepped forward carrying a thick briefing folder filled with federal statutes and case precedents. Dr. Patricia Whitmore violated Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Federal discrimination in public accommodations. Administrator Mills enabled the violation through direct administrative support. Both defendants face personal civil liability exceeding $500,000 each, plus potential criminal referrals. The financial numbers were absolutely devastating. Personal financial ruin for both primary defendants. What about hospital institutional liability? The Metro General faces potential class action exposure from every minority patient treated by Whitmore during her 25-year tenure. Conservative legal estimate, $15 to $30 million in court settlements. Aggressive estimate approaches $50 million if federal prosecutors file institutional discrimination charges. Kesha studied the comprehensive legal analysis while gently stroking Elijah's sleeping forehead. Her son was medically safe. Her family was protected. Now came the systematic institutional changes necessary to prevent future discrimination incidents. Margaret, convene an emergency board of directors meeting immediately. Full secure video conference. I want every board member online within exactly 30 minutes. Already arranged per your standing instructions. Mrs. Washington, all 9 board members are standing by on encrypted video connections. The corporate machinery moved with practiced military precision. Board directors joined secure video connections from their private residences across 4 different states. Each participant represented millions in healthcare investment capital. Their combined financial influence shaped medical policy throughout the entire region. Board member Patricia Hendricks appeared first on the high-definition conference screen. Kesha, we've been monitoring social media developments all night. This discrimination situation has reached genuine national media attention. Patricia, we're facing potential federal discrimination charges against our flagship hospital. Our institutional reputation is at immediate stake. Our Medicare reimbursement contracts could face federal review. Our hospital accreditation might face regulatory scrutiny. The financial implications were absolutely staggering. Metro General processed approximately $340 million annually in Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements. Federal discrimination findings could trigger comprehensive audits, temporary reimbursement suspensions, and intensive operational reviews. Board member James Morrison joined the emergency call from his Connecticut estate. Kesha, what's our immediate crisis response strategy? Complete personnel restructuring, effective immediately. Dr. Whitmore will submit her resignation tonight. Mills will be terminated for cause before sunrise. We'll implement comprehensive bias detection protocols hospital-wide within 72 hours. What about this viral footage situation? The story is trending internationally across multiple platforms. The social media metrics were genuinely unprecedented. Hashir racism had reached 2.3 million individual mentions across all major platforms. International news outlets from 12 different countries had formally requested official statements. The story appeared prominently on BBC World News, Deutsche Welle International, and Australia Broadcasting Corporation. We'll strategically use this global attention to demonstrate genuine institutional reform, not corporate damage control, actual systematic change with measurable outcomes. Margaret efficiently distributed detailed reform proposals to each board member via encrypted email systems. The documentation was professionally comprehensive. New hiring protocols, advanced bias detection technology, patient advocacy systems, and extensive community outreach programs. I'm proposing the Washington Protocol, Kesha announced to the assembled board. Zero tolerance for patient discrimination. Real-time bias detection systems, immediate intervention protocols, complete transparency in all patient treatment decisions. Board member Sarah Chen reviewed the detailed proposals on her tablet. What are the total implementation costs for this? Comprehensive overhaul? $4.2 million for complete system transformation, advanced technology integration, mandatory staff retraining programs, community outreach initiatives, and ongoing monitoring systems. Motion approved unanimously. Patricia Hendricks declared without hesitation. When do we begin full implementation? Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. press conference. Scheduled for 10 a.m. complete media availability. Total transparency about tonight's events and our comprehensive institutional response. The emergency board meeting concluded at 4:23 a.m. Systematic institutional change would begin within hours. Meanwhile, Dr. Patricia Whitmore sat completely alone in the deserted hospital cafeteria, staring at her handwritten resignation letter. 25 years of distinguished medical practice, hundreds of lives saved through emergency interventions, thousands of patients were treated successfully. All of that professional legacy now permanently overshadowed by one night of documented racism broadcast to hundreds of thousands of witnesses worldwide. Her hands trembled uncontrollably as she signed the career-ending document. Janet Mills faced a significantly different corporate reality. Immediate termination for cause. No severance compensation. No benefits continuation. No professional references for future employment. 22 years of hospital administration ended with security personnel escorting her from the building. The college student's TikTok livestream had generated over 200,000 active viewers by dawn. Comment sections evolved into digital town halls discussing healthcare discrimination, systematic racism, and corporate accountability measures. The online conversation had transcended viral entertainment to generate genuine social discourse. Mrs. Washington. Margaret approached the consultation room carrying her smartphone. CNN has requested an exclusive television interview. Good Morning America wants a live studio appearance. The Associated Press is preparing a comprehensive investigative piece about healthcare discrimination. Schedule CNN for this afternoon. We'll use that media platform to announce our systematic reforms publicly. This situation isn't about corporate punishment. It's about systematic prevention. At 5:15 a.m., Kesha received a phone call that would potentially reshape healthcare policy nationwide. Mrs. Washington. This is Senator Patricia Johnson calling from the Senate Healthcare Committee. We've been closely monitoring tonight's events. Through social media, would you consider providing formal testimony about healthcare discrimination at our upcoming congressional hearings? Congressional testimony, federal policy influence, systematic change extending far beyond one hospital. Senator Johnson, I would be genuinely honored to share our experience and our comprehensive reform solutions. At 6 a.m., Metro General Hospital's official Twitter account posted an unprecedented institutional statement. Metro General Hospital acknowledges that discrimination occurred in our emergency department tonight. We accept full institutional responsibility. Comprehensive reforms begin immediately. Washington Protocol becomes our operational standard. Systematic change had begun. 6 months later, Metro General Hospital had become a model for healthcare equity nationwide. The Washington Protocol operated with mathematical precision. Real-time bias detection systems monitored every patient interaction. Artificial intelligence algorithms analyzed speech patterns, response times, and treatment decisions for discriminatory patterns. When bias indicators triggered, immediate intervention protocols activated automatically. Dr. James Chen, now Chief of Emergency Medicine, reviewed the quarterly discrimination report. 0 confirmed bias incidents in 6 months. Patient satisfaction scores among minority communities had increased 73%. Staff diversity had improved across all management levels. The transformation has been remarkable, Chen told the hospital board during their monthly video conference. We've processed over 15,000 emergency room visits since implementation. Not a single discrimination complaint. The financial impact exceeded all projections. Metro General's reputation attracted top medical talent from prestigious institutions. Nationwide, patient volume increased 31%. Insurance companies offered premium contracts based on the hospital's exemplary care standards. More importantly, the Washington Protocol had spread throughout the healthcare industry. 47 hospitals across 12 states had implemented similar bias detection systems. Medical schools incorporated discrimination prevention into mandatory curriculum. The American Medical Association adopted Chen's training protocols as national standards. Kesha Washington's congressional testimony had catalyzed federal healthcare reform. The Senate Healthcare Committee passed legislation requiring bias detection systems in all hospitals receiving Medicare funding. The bill, officially titled the Healthcare Equity and Patient Dignity Act, passed both chambers with bipartisan support. President Biden signed the legislation at a White House ceremony attended by Kesha and Elijah Washington. The 8-year-old had fully recovered from his strep infection. More significantly, it witnessed his mother transform personal trauma into systemic change, affecting millions of patients nationwide. Dr. Patricia Whitmore faced different consequences. Her medical license remained under review by the state medical board. No hospital would hire her due to the viral footage and documented discrimination findings. She had enrolled in a court-mandated bias awareness program. Working as a medical consultant for a legal firm specializing in discrimination cases, Janet Mills found employment as a night shift supervisor at a small rural clinic. Her salary had dropped from $78,000 to $31,000 annually. The career consequences served as a cautionary tale throughout hospital administration circles. The original TikTok livestream had generated over 12 million views across all platforms. The college student, Marcus Rivera, received a full scholarship to journalism school and an internship with CNN. His footage became part of a documentary about healthcare discrimination that won 3 Emmy Awards. Security guard Marcus Thompson received a promotion to hospital safety director. His decision to refuse discriminatory orders had been featured in training videos used in healthcare facilities nationwide. His daughter Zara, now 9 years old, often visited the hospital where her father had stood up for justice. Nurse Maria Rodriguez was promoted to patient advocacy coordinator. Her role involved training staff on bias recognition and ensuring equitable treatment for all patients. The position had been created specifically based on her exemplary conduct. During the discrimination incident, real-life stories like these demonstrate how individual courage can create institutional change. Black stories matter because they illuminate systemic problems that affect entire communities. Touching stories of discrimination overcome through determination inspire others to demand justice. The emergency room where everything began had been completely renovated. A small plaque near the entrance read, "In commitment to dignity, respect, and equitable care for all patients." Few visitors understood its significance, but staff members knew it commemorated the night that changed everything. Kesha Washington's Washington Medical Group had expanded operations into 6 additional states. Annual revenue reached $4.22 billion, making it one of the largest healthcare networks in the nation. But financial success mattered less than the systematic changes implemented across hundreds of facilities. The discrimination incident had cost Metro General approximately $2.8 million in legal fees, settlements, and system upgrades. However, the hospital's enhanced reputation generated $15.7 million in additional revenue within the first year. Justice had proven profitable. Elijah Washington, now attending 4th grade at St. Bartholomew's Academy, occasionally visited his mother's hospital. Staff members recognized him as the little boy whose fever had sparked a healthcare revolution. He remained unaware of his historical significance, focused instead on soccer practice and mathematics homework. The live stream viewing audience had evolved into a grassroots advocacy network. Thousands of viewers now monitored hospital social media accounts, reported discrimination incidents, and supported patients facing bias. Digital activism had created real-world accountability. Meta-analysis conducted by the Centers for Disease Control found that hospitals implementing Washington Protocol-style bias detection experienced 89% reductions in discrimination complaints. Patient outcomes improved across all demographic categories. The model had become the gold standard for equitable healthcare delivery. During a recent interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, Kesha reflected on that February night. Sometimes the system only responds to power, but real change happens when we use that power to lift others up, not tear people down. The transformation was complete, but the work continued. Every patient deserved dignity. Every family deserved respect. Every person deserved equitable treatment regardless of race, income, or background. The Washington Protocol had become more than hospital policy. It had become a movement. Today, Elijah Washington is a healthy 9-year-old who plays soccer and excels in mathematics. He doesn't fully understand how his fever that February night changed healthcare for millions of Americans. But he knows his mother fought for him when others wouldn't. That's the power of a mother's love, combined with strategic thinking and corporate responsibility. Kesha Washington continues leading Washington Medical Group, now operating 127 hospitals across 9 states. But her greatest achievement isn't financial success. It's the systematic change that ensures no other family faces what they experienced in that emergency room. The ripple effects continue expanding. Medical schools now require bias training. Insurance companies offer premium rates to hospitals with proven equity records. Patients have digital tools to report discrimination instantly. Healthcare has become more human because one woman refused to accept inhumane treatment. These real-life stories matter because they demonstrate how individual courage creates institutional change. Black stories illuminate systemic problems affecting entire communities. Touching stories of discrimination overcome through determination inspire others to demand justice and equality. The viral footage from that night has been viewed over 15 million times. It's been translated into 12 languages. International health care systems study the Washington Protocol. Medical students analyze the case in ethics courses. The story has become a global example of how power properly used can create lasting positive change. But this isn't just about one successful CEO who happened to own a hospital. This story represents every person who has been dismissed, overlooked, or discriminated against based on appearance rather than character. Every family who has been judged unfairly, every individual who has been treated as less than human. The difference is that Kesha Washington had the resources and power to fight back effectively. She used that privilege not for revenge, but for reform, not for punishment, but for prevention, not for personal gain, but for societal progress. The emergency room where everything began still operates 24 hours a day. The staff members who witnessed that February night tell new employees about the importance of treating every patient with dignity. The Washington Protocol operates seamlessly, preventing discrimination before it happens. Dr. Chen recently told a medical conference, "We learned that bias isn't always intentional, but it's always harmful. Systems can change hearts and minds more effectively than lectures or sensitivity training." The college students' live stream created more than viral content. It generated accountability. Digital witnesses demanded justice. Social media became a force for positive change rather than just entertainment. Marcus Thompson still works security. Now, as hospital safety director, he tells his daughter Zara about the night he chose moral courage over following orders. "Sometimes doing the right thing costs something," he explains, "but doing the wrong thing costs everything. Your voice matters." In these conversations, if you've witnessed discrimination in healthcare, share your story in the comments below. Your experience could help others recognize bias and demand better treatment. Hit the subscribe button for Black Voices Uncut to hear more stories of resilience, justice, and systematic change. Share this video to show that accountability isn't just possible, it's happening. Because every person deserves dignity, every family deserves respect, every story deserves to be heard, sometimes justice delayed. Isn't justice denied?